Hey everybody, Glenn here, and it's February, which means it's time for another Marvel Collector Core. This is Superhero Showdowns, and we've got the cover of the box, which has Daredevil and Bullseye. As always, spoilers abound for these boxes, so I'm going to jump right into the items. As for the box, this one is empty, but as per usual, we've got the comic panel, art on the inside, and you can unfold it and even put it on your wall if you want to. So, nice looking box as always. And let's dig into the items. We're going to start with the wearable. We've got a t-shirt. This one is kind of becoming a little bit of a theme with some of these boxes, is these battle shirts, you know, that represent some sort of fight or a ring fight poster, things like that. This is a vintage comic book looking pop shirt. We've got Spidey, Green Goblin, and it's supposed to look vintage. It's all faded, 12 cents comic book cover look. One thing about, I know a lot of people are getting tired of the pop shirts, but what I like about this particular shirt is the coloring. I think the colors look great with the red and, again, the faded look and the blue. It just goes together really well. At first, when I saw Funko's unboxing of that, I thought, well, it would have been nice with a little splash of green for the Green Goblin, but I like the 2 or 3 color shirt. It's not as busy. It just has a great look to it. I like the blue. It's kind of different because it's not really light, but it's not really dark either. So good looking pop shirt. Again, I know a lot of people are getting kind of sick of the pop shirts a little bit because they do them so often, but it's a pop box, right? So I think this one looks pretty good. So there is the shirt. All right, the normal comic, this one is Inhumans versus X-Men, and it's got a pop cover. See Wolverine and Sabretooth. This is the first color that's not art, it's actually photography. So this is some pop photography, which actually is pretty popular right now. You see it all over Instagram. Some great photographers working some magic with pops in different scenes, and Funko did a good job with this one. It doesn't really relate too much to Inhumans versus X-Men, but they needed to pick a comic for the variant cover, and this is the one they picked. But this looks really good. It's nice photography style that's definitely different from what we've seen before with these pop cover comics. All right. I jumped right to the wearable, so I didn't go over the patch and the pin, so we'll do that now. For the pin, we've got Hulk and Red Hulk. Hopefully it focuses there. There we go. This is a nice looking pin. I like the colors on it. It looks really good. And I like the patch this time too. We've got Iron Man and Ultron. And as I've said before with these patches, I don't particularly care for the ones that are trying to be kind of photorealistic. This is a nice comic looking patch. So nice and simple with the 2 heads there. It looks really good. And I dig this patch. It's not trying to be too fancy, but there's a lot of detail in it. So looks really good. I like the patch and the pin this time. All right, now to the figures. For the first time in a Funko box, we're getting exclusive Pint Size Heroes. And for those of you that aren't familiar with the Pint Size Heroes, they're basically, I like to think of them as Dorbs minis. Just like the mystery minis are kind of pop minis. In a lot of ways, these are smaller versions of Dorbs is what they generally remind me of. So these are actually exclusive, which means they're Pint-Sized Heroes are normally blind bags. You know, you get one of 12 or what have you. These, you know exactly what's in. These, we've got Cap and the Red Skull, and these are exclusive to the Collector Core. So I really could have opened them ahead of time. So we'll start with Cap. There he is. I really, really like the Pint-Sized Heroes. They're really growing on me. I think they've got a great look. I love Cap's shield there. It's kind of the old school 1940s Cap in Pint-Sized Heroes form. Again, it's kind of on my face, but there we go. You can see it in a little more detail there. I love the paint job on these. I just love the way they look. They're not stuck to one facial expression. Kind of the Dorbs generally all look the same with the slit eyes and the smile. Well, some of these are smiling, some of these are smirking. They have different eyes. They look different from each other, which is kind of cool. So that's the cap one, and then we've got the Red Skull. And you see the Red Skull looks different because he's not smiling or anything. He is the evil dude that he is. I can turn his head a little bit so he's actually on centered. There we go. Put him where my face is so that the camera will focus on him. And again, he's got a different facial expression, same kind of mold model, but he looks very different and he looks as evil as he is. So we've got Cap and we've got Red Skull right there. So really nice to get these finally in a box. I've been looking forward to them putting Pint Size Heroes in. I wouldn't actually mind it if, moving on, they had some blind bag functionality to it, to where maybe there were 4 variants in a box and they gave you 2 of the blind bags so you could get 2 and wanted to collect the other 2. I would like to see that, but it was cool to get specific figures like that. I don't have too many of these Pint Size Heroes yet, just because when I focus on pops, it's hard to want to spend money on anything else, but it's cool to get these when I'm able to, so I'll keep getting those. Alrighty, so that's the Pint Size Heroes. And lastly, for the main event, as they say, we've got the Pop Double Pack. Now, when this was advertised, they actually didn't spoil too much about this box with the teasers. Obviously, they spoiled their box when they did their unboxing like they always do, but they didn't just throw the pop out as soon as they announced the box like they did with the Wolverine pop ride. They kind of kept this one under wraps, and all they said was it was going to be a 2-pack. I don't even think they said it would be a 2-pack, but they said there will be one with a different mold that they've never done before. And in this case, the 2-pack is Bullseye, Daredevil, and Bullseye got a brand new character that they haven't done before, but 2 brand new molds. So double pack, you can see on the back, we've got Daredevil and Bullseye. I love the Daredevil black suit. That looks very cool. We're going to take these guys out real quick. All right, so we're going to start with Bullseye. We've got Bullseye there, and this is definitely a different mold and a different style because I like the way he's holding his card up that he's about to throw. A lot of people have asked why he's holding a sai there. I like to think of that as something he took from Elektra. You know, if you know the history, both the comic book history and the bad movie history of Bullseye and Elektra, I think it's kind of makes sense that he'd have one of her sais, in addition to his playing card that he's thrown. Now, looking at the paint, as I'm looking at it on camera, see a couple of white specks. It's really difficult. There, I think I got them. With these really jet black figures, to get them completely blemish free, but they did a pretty good job there. The paint job looks good. I like his hip holsters, or his hip holster, and his belt. Nice paint job, looks really good. You know, they've obviously gotten really good at this, and I love that this is a new stance, a new mold. It looks different than any other pop out there right now. Now for the Daredevil, they've gone with a leaping one, so he's on a stand leaping. They've done these pops recently. Spider-Man comes to mind. Deadpool comes to mind. They've done a couple of these on a stand leaping characters, but in this case, I don't think it's tired because, number one, this is Daredevil in a nutshell, right? It totally fits him, and his arms are outstretched to his sides. The head looks great. Totally different looking head than what we've seen before. I don't particularly like, again, these jet black heads. Sometimes you see the flaws a little bit more, like you see on the side of the head. You see some little bit of faded patches and darker patches than others. So, looking at it straight on, looking at it, on display, it looks good. But, up close, you can kind of see a couple of flaws. But in general, I love this pop. I like these stand leaping pops. I don't think they're overdoing them. I'd hate to, they don't do them all that often, but the technology is there and their expertise has come along so that they can do these from time to time, and they give a different look. The only problem I ever have with these leaping ones is sometimes they don't stand that well. They lean too far forward, or they come off of the stand too easily. And that's something that, especially the Spider-Man one, and the Superman flying one comes off of his stand a lot too. But this one pretty much is perfect. They've done a really good job of attaching the stand piece really solidly, as opposed to some other characters. And the balance is perfect as far as how he sits on the stand and how the stand sits on a shelf. So it looks good, and it's got good balance, and it's not going to be falling over like you find sometimes in a couple of the other leaping, quote-unquote, leaping pops. So this is a really cool 2-pack. I dig it a lot. It's different. I like the theme, the superhero showdowns. And they did a pretty good job with this box. This box is an A for sure. I like every single thing in it. I'll never be that big of a fan of the comic just because the way they package them. And at least this one is, it doesn't really fit the cover, but it is a #1 issue variant cover. So that's a plus there. Dig the Pint Size Heroes. Great to see these finally in a box. And then lastly, we can also look at the spoiler card. We've got the behind the scenes from concept to final, and the Pint Size Heroes as well. And, interesting to kind of read about them and check them out. No variants or anything. And then next time in April, we're looking at Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I'm really excited about this one. I know everybody's making jokes like we're going to get 2 more scarves or something. That that box last year, Guardians, not this last December, but the one before, full of Christmassy stuff, didn't go over that well. It's generally considered by most to be their least favorite of the collector core. I don't feel that way. I liked everything in there. But it also didn't have a real pop. It had the ornaments and it had the Christmassy stuff in there, but didn't have a real pop. So that was probably where everybody's disappointment came from. But I am looking forward to Volume 2, just as I'm looking forward to the movie. And also in April, and they just announced this today, in April will be the first Disney box. We've been waiting for this one for a while, Disney Treasures. And as I predicted, it's coming out in April, so that now in April we're going to have the Marvel box and the Disney box, and then the other. So I guess March is going to be the DC and Star Wars box, and then so we got 2 boxes per month now instead of 2 boxes, 1 box, 2 boxes, 1 box. So that'll be cool to get 2 of the Funko boxes every month now that they're adding the Disney one in. Really looking forward to that. That should be available for ordering pretty soon. That's about it for this box. I'd love to see your comments down below on how you liked it. Again, there's spoilers all over the place. I've already seen 3 or 4 unboxings, and Funko does their own. So this is a box where all the Funko boxes really, I don't really do an unboxing. I generally just review the products, and at least I'm able to go into them with a little bit of depth. If you like this video, throw me a like, and check me out as always on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all that good stuff. And we will see you next time. Bye-bye.